Got a little surprise for you. So come and check it out with me. Look at these two. Seymour's laying on Allie, right on him. Allie likes it. You like it, Allie? You like it, the way he's laying on you? Seems like you like it. You got an alfalfa thing going on over there? You got that? Did Seymour do that? Seymour, you really love Allie, don't you? Well, it's just a little while later now. And you can see Henry's all snuggled up with Alexander here. But Alexander's kind of turned away. He's looking over at Seymour over there. You wish Seymour was in the bed with you, Allie? But Henry looks really nice and comfortable there. Hello, Allie. We're going to a wake. We went to a wake yesterday, and we're going to a funeral today for my cousin. My cousin, she actually passed away when we were in Nebraska, and I was really upset. It was really hard. I was close to her. We were reasonably close, closer to her than I am to any of my other cousins. I have cousins that I wouldn't even know walking down the street. I have a lot of cousins, but I was closest to her, and she passed away when we were in Nebraska, and I was concerned, I was upset that she passed away, and then I was concerned because we would never make it back in time. But luckily, her funeral and wake were delayed, so we get to go, and I'm really glad that, at least I got to go to say bye to her.
Yeah, it worked out in a good way, so that everything you just said. So
all right, well, I'll leave a picture of her and me from a few years ago at the end of this video, because we're not going to film there. And my cousin had 3 sons, and they're all really good boys. We've always really liked them.
Yeah.
So just a tough time. It happened really suddenly. She wasn't sick or anything. It just happened suddenly. So
yeah, this is a tough one. I always tell Sharon I can't picture her cousin, being gone, but.
And her name was Diane, but her name was Diane Sharon. She's older than me, and I'm the youngest. On that side, I'm the youngest cousin, and I'm the second youngest on my other side. But her name was Diane Sharon, and my name's Sharon, so. Well, I'm headed to church, and got a little surprise for you at church, so come and check it out with me.
So today what I want to do is basically what Kevin did the first time we started the service. He basically shared his testimony of what God did in his life, how he ended up being here. So I think I'm going to do the same thing since I'm here for the first time doing this. And so I'm going to use 3 scriptures. I wrote them down in case anybody wants to look them up. but I'll read them and then I'll give you my testimony. The first one is Genesis 18:10 through 14. Then one of them said, I will return to you about this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son. Sarah was listening to this conversation from the tent. Abraham and Sarah were both very old by this time, and Sarah was long past the age of having children. So she laughed silently to herself and said, how can a worn-out woman like me enjoy such pleasure, especially when my master, my husband, is also so old? Then the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? Why did she say, can an old woman like me have a baby? Is anything too hard for the Lord? And Jeremiah 32:27. I am the Lord, the God of all the people of the world. Is anything too hard for me? And Matthew 19:26. Jesus looked at them intently and said, humanly speaking, it is impossible, but with God all things are possible. So basically, just the fact that I'm here today with you guys doing this in itself, it's a miracle. There was a time where I had such horrible anxiety. I couldn't even go outside. That's how bad it was. So I'll tell you the story of how that ended up happening. When I was 14 years old, I was riding my bike, and I went through a stop sign, and fortunately, the other person that was driving this car didn't have a stop sign, so he drove and he hit me. I hit his windshield, cracked his windshield, went flying. Luckily, I didn't hit anything else after I got hit, but I lost consciousness for maybe for a little bit. When I came to, I was full of blood. I looked at myself, I came to, and I was so full of blood, and basically I was in shock. And I got up, tried to walk, and I fell back down. My legs gave out from under me, and the person who hit me came, and he came to get me, to help me, and he sat me down in his car, the front seat, and I said to him, because I was terrified and I was in shock, I said, I don't want to die. And he said, relax, you're not going to die, you're not going to die. And he had me sit there, and then he left to get help. And as I was sitting there, I saw myself with all this blood, and all these people started coming out. You know, the ambulances came, the fire trucks came, and the police came, the sirens, and I think everybody in Cheektowaga, we lived in Cheektowaga back then, everybody in Cheektowaga must have came out to see what was going on that day, and they were all, you know, as people are wont to do when there's an accident, they're all scared. Oh, what happened? Oh, is he going to make it? Is he dying? So, but I remember that, and my mom came. We lived not too far from there. She came. She was crying, I think, and I was just terrified. And then the ambulance came, and they took me away. It's interesting. Before that, I used to always say, you know, wait till I get my license. I'm going to drive like a lunatic someday. I'm going to go 100 miles per hour. Nobody's going to be able to stop me. But after this, let's just say, I was afraid to drive, do anything, basically. All those people coming out and that experience just did something to me, and I just had horrible anxiety for years afterwards, to the point where I basically almost made myself a jail cell. My bedroom was my jail cell, and my dad used to joke, when are you going to come out of that jail cell? And my brother and sister would laugh because they thought it was funny. Obviously, I didn't think it was funny, but I didn't go anywhere. I didn't see anybody. I was in that bedroom. I was afraid to go anywhere. I didn't drive. I drove a little bit. When I got my license, but not very far. I was just terrified. I was terrified of people. I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't date until I was in my 30s, basically, because of this anxiety. And basically one day, my parents, my dad and my mom and my sister and my brother, they ended up going somewhere to do something fun, as you know, they always would do, and I would always stay behind. But on this occasion, they went out, and I stayed behind in the bedroom as usual. And I thought to myself, you know what? I don't want to live like this anymore. Why am I living like this? You know, that car, when he hit me, he didn't kill me. I didn't die that day, but I might as well have died, because And I've been living in this jail cell that I made for myself for years. And so I talked to God that day. I kind of was semi-Christian at that point. I had watched the 700 Club when I was like 13, I think, or so, and I thought I was saved. Anyway, I put my hand up against the TV as they used to do, and anyway, but as much as I could be a Christian when you're 13 or 14, I guess I was kind of a Christian. But anyway, I prayed to God, and I said, Lord, I'm tired of this. I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to live. I want to live my life. And so the answer, one answer that I thought he gave me was start going to church. So I started going to church, and I started praying. And what I started praying was, is anything too hard for the Lord to redeem me from this, to free me from this? And slowly but surely, I came out of it. And the chains came off, and I came out of that bedroom. I started doing stuff. I started dating, and sometime after that, I met my wife. There's a story, and maybe I'll say that another time. There's an interesting story with that. And not too long after that, we got married. And today, we're hauling an RV, a fifth wheel no less, across the country, going to Arizona, and then we come back. We go to Quartzsite, Arizona, and if you would have told me that I was going to do that years ago, I would have said, are you insane? I can't even come out of the bedroom. I mean, I used to order food, and then when it was time to go get it, there would be people outside, and I'd be afraid to go outside to get the food, so I would go get the food. That's how bad this anxiety was. But anyway, so we're hauling this RV across the country, and I'm driving this thing, and like, I never would have been able to do anything like this, but with God's grace, He delivered me from that. Again, is anything too hard for the Lord? So if any of you guys are facing anything, whatever you guys are facing, when you go to God in prayer, always remember those verses. With God, all things are possible. Always tell God that when you're praying. Remind Him. Tell Him, you know what, Lord, you said, is anything too hard for me? And so that's my story. I think we'll close out with another song, and then we'll do a prayer, and then I guess you guys can all go about your day today.
These are the verses that Sal did. So how was it, Sal, your first service?
It went good. It was emotional. I felt the presence of the Lord with me, and I hope people were blessed by it. Even if one person is blessed by what I said today, that'll be worth it. Especially there were little kids here. I'm hoping that, they're learning. They're just starting off in life. They'll take this with them, and it'll benefit them in a great way, and they'll be blessed by the Lord, and maybe the Lord will even use them someday.
It was good to see you do that service.
Yeah.
It's funny because we've been wanting to do something at this campground for so many years, and
I know.
Thanks to Kevin, now
we
are.
needed Kevin to get it going. The Lord used Kevin to get it going, and hopefully the service will be blessed, and we'll have many people come to the Lord because of it.
And of course, I was here.
Sharon was here. She did the Aaronic blessing. Couldn't have done it without Sharon.
Were you really nervous?
No, I wasn't. I was more nervous about how many people were going to show up than whether doing the ministry, because I know God would help me with the message. I knew God was with me, and I was, and He was, and so I hope people were blessed by it.